Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Ray. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to finish this window casing that I just installed. If you'd like to check out that video of how I did it, you can find that video right about here. So I'm going to be showing you how to fill in any gaps or cracks, also how to sand it, and then also caulk it, and then paint it as well. Let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have all of our gaps or cracks filled in. So when we put the pieces of wood together, there really wasn't a whole lot, but I just want to make sure that all the nail holes are filled in and all the gaps and cracks are filled in. So what I have is some premium wood filler. I don't know if you can see this, made by DAP. And what I did here is that when it comes, it's very thick. I just take and I add some water. Now, this container was already emptied. I used it on another project. Actually, these cabinets right here, that's what I used to finish all these cabinets. I don't know if you could see that. Pretty sure you can. So these were oak cabinets, and I took this right here and I filled all the grain in, and then I sanded it all down, painted it, and as you can see, you can't even tell. And you could check out that video right here if you'd like to see on how I did that. But anyways, so this was already empty. I took a little bit, put inside here, put about a 1/4 inch of water with about an inch of the compound, mix it around until it's very kind of like almost like a cake batter, thick cake batter, but it's a lot thinner. So anyways, I want to take that and with a little putty knife, and then now most of the holes I already filled in already, but so there was nail holes here, there, up there, all through here. So nail holes all over the place. Well, I shouldn't say all over the place, but so I just took this and I filled it in, and then but there's still some other gaps up here along this trim piece here, and then up there as well. So I'm just going to fill those in using this star here, let it dry, I'll sand it down, and then I'll repaint it. Alright, so let's go and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take just a little bit on my putty knife, and then I'm going to just slide it right across where the gaps are, which is right up underneath here, and just push the material or the compound up into the gaps. Now, you probably could just take some caulk and fill this in and still do the very same thing that I'm doing, but I really don't want caulk up in there. I would like to have a smoother finish to where I can just paint it and it'll look like one piece instead of having caulking there. But you could do either one. This is how I prefer to do it. So I finished basically with all of that. I did that already. So you can put a little more up in here. And what I'm doing is I'm sticking it on there, and then I'm just wiping it right off, trying to push it up into those gaps. And once you feel like it's all the way up in there to your satisfaction, then I'll be good. Oh, there's just a little bit more, a couple little holes there. All right, good. Alright, now I finished sanding the whole thing down with this is a 120 grit sanding block. Sanded the whole thing all down. But now I got a lot of dust. So I'm going to take a damp microfiber cloth, very damp to the touch, wring all the water out. I'm going to lightly, and I emphasize lightly, because I don't want to rub too much, because then I'll be rubbing off the wood filler from the gaps that I just installed, or not installed, but filled in. So I'm just going to lightly wipe all the dust away, let it dry, make sure all the dust is gone. Once that is finished, then I'm ready to paint. Alright, so now that I have finished putting the wood filler on, I sanded everything down, so I'm finished with that. Now it's time for me to put the caulking in, and what I'm using is premium molding and trim sealant. For crown molding, it's just white, it's made by DAP. When you want to cut the edge here, you don't want to cut too much off, because think about this. Think if you cut a 1/4 inch off, well, there's going to be a quarter amount of, as far as the width of it, of caulking come out. So I don't want that much, because I'm only putting just a small little crack. So I just cut about 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch off. It doesn't come out very fast, which I don't want it to come out fast. So and I cut mine at an angle, but you remember, when you cut it at an angle, you have to apply it at an angle. So if my cut is at 45 degrees, I apply it at 45 degrees. If I cut it straight, you have to apply it straight. So think of it this way, whichever degree that you cut it, that's the way you have to apply it. If I cut it at a 45 degree angle, I put it on straight, it's not going to apply properly, okay? So, plus you want to, your movement wants to be at the same motion as you squeeze, okay? Takes a little practice, but you can get it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just caulking around the window here, okay? Now, I just finished doing this already. I didn't do that on video, but that's basically what I did. Just caulk around this right here. Then once you're done caulking it, you want to have a wet rag nearby, and you just want to wet your finger, okay? Not sopping wet, but pretty damp. You want to wet your finger. Once you run the bead of it, you just want to take your finger and do just like this, and then you just wipe it off, okay? Same thing down here, just like so. You just want to wipe it off. And you just want to do that all the way around it. Once you're finished with that, it's all finished. I'm going to give this a little bit of time to dry, and my next step would be painting it. And I'll show you what paint I'm going to use and how I do that here in a few seconds. So it's about time for me to go ahead and paint. And what I'm going to be using is the Emerald Urethane Trim Enamel. I like using this just because when it hardens a little better than just regular paint. Plus, with being around trim, being close to the sink and stuff like that, I don't want to take any chances of it chipping or anything like that. So, plus it wipes off a whole lot better if we need to wipe it from dust or anything like that. Plus, I'm just going to be using a 2.5 inch brush. You can use a 2 inch if you want, or just kind of whatever you have. This is what I had, so this is what I'm going to use. But whatever you have, you can use as well. So I'll go ahead and paint the whole thing, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright y'all, so I finished putting my first coat of paint on, and it's all dry now. It's kind of splotchy looking, it's not perfect, but what I'm going to do is put 2 or 3 coats on it, so it's okay. But what I'm going to do now is take my 120 grit sand block, and I'm just going to sand over the whole thing one more time just to make sure it's all smooth, get rid of all the high spots, and then I'm going to go back over it with a second coat, see what it looks like, and then if it needs a 3rd coat, I'll do that as well. Alright, so I'm going to start doing that. Well guys, here's the finished product. I think it looked pretty good. I ended up putting 3 coats of paint on it, sanded it down after the second coat. I already put my last coat. I would say it turned out pretty good. Well, thank you for following along with the video. If you have any comments or questions on what I did, please put them in the comment section below. If you'd like to check out a few of my other videos, you can find them somewhere around here. Alright? Don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe if you'd like to also. Thank you.